Hey, I am coming this evening with a new beer to review. This is the Odd Side Brewing Citra Pale Ale, and now I'm pretty excited about this one. This is a single hop pale ale. It's made only with Citra hops. It says a single hop pale ale brewed exclusively with Citra hops. The aroma is an intoxicating bouquet of grapefruit, tropical fruit, lemon, and pine. Now, the grapefruit, lemon, pine triumvirate is kind of really one of my absolute favorite hop combos. The Citra hop itself, one of my favorite type of hops flavors. I feel like I'm noticing that shows up a ton in my favorite IPAs. And so they don't call this one an IPA. They don't call it an India Pale Ale. The ABV, let's locate that real quick. This can's really hard to... That's 5.75% ABV. So actually, it would be quite low for an IPA, and maybe that's one reason they're not choosing it to call, just calling it a pale ale. The line between those two styles is, of course, somewhat blurry. I love pale ales. I love IPAs. IPAs are my favorite style. As I've said, Citra hops going to be one of my favorite. I love that. And I like to talk about the experience of each beer that I drink, and the feeling with this one right away is just very bright, shiny, bright, reflected in the can itself. The color scheme chosen, the white and yellow predominating. The fact that it's Citra, I can tell the concept on this feels pretty strong. Kind of a lower ABV, bright, sunny, Citra focused single hop pale ale. Now, also, this is by Odd Side Brewing, which has knocked a few out of the park for me recently. I'm thinking in particular of the Bombon de la Muerte Imperial Stout that's like 14%. ABV, just completely crushed in with dark chocolate and sea salt. I did a review of that one. You go watch that if that appeals to you. It's one of my favorite stouts that I've found. Just truly pretty magnificent. And so Oddside has done a few other beers that I've really liked. I'm blanking right now. I know I have their Mayan Mocha in stout in the fridge. That's a different stout. It's a much lower ABV. I'm not quite as excited about it. Have not tried it yet, for the record. I don't know what it actually tastes like. But, so my point being, Oddside has done some very interesting things, some very weird and interesting, extreme, I guess is the word I'm looking for. This is obviously much more pulled back, pared back, restrained, with the lower ABV, the single hop, the less experimental. It's just a pale ale, what could go wrong? So that's interesting and interesting to me. Interesting and interesting. Yeah, I just said that. It's been a long day, okay? It's interesting to me because it almost makes me nervous. It's like when you're watching a horror movie but nothing scary has happened for the first hour and you're like, "Oh god, where is this going?" It's like the tension is unbearable. So, maybe this is just a simple single hop pale ale. As I say on the label, with a bright, sunny experience that I'm looking for in this can, but maybe I'm going to be surprised. I don't know. So let's crack this one open. Oh, last thing, canned on date is it's older than I would like. I don't mean to be a snob. I don't mean to be snotty about it. This is March 23rd. I'm starting to think this is another one of a batch of singles I recently got from just my big box HEB grocery store in Austin, and they all showed up. I always check the singles section. I'm just wondering suddenly, maybe what happened here is they finally just decided to get rid of all the summer and early year beers that hadn't moved yet. That's probably what happened. I was thinking like, oh, there's a bunch of special stuff I could try for the first time, and I'm starting to think if I keep looking at the canned on dates of the batch I got at that grocery store, I think I might start seeing a lot that are from the very beginning of 2020. Right now it's almost mid-November 2020, so almost a year old on this pale. Is that for real? That's a little annoying. I would rather not be drinking an 8-month-old pale ale because I have the option not to. So maybe that's a lesson to me. I need to look a little more carefully on the canned-on date before my excitement gets the better of me. But hey, I'm not worried. I don't have a big problem. I'm not snobby about that stuff. I'm just starting to pay a little more attention lately to when things got canned because I'm a nerd. Okay, let's open this thing up. Sounds great. Smells like a pale ale. Yeah, still get some, not hard to get a little bit of head on there. I think my fears might have been unfounded. It's just a shame, though, since this one is supposed to feature the hop, and the hops are you can't do anything. They're just gonna degenerate over time. That's what they do. Especially if it hasn't been refrigerated the whole time, which, let's be real. Let's be real. Is this beer really made it refrigerated the whole time for 8 months? I find it unlikely. I'm impressed, though. Look at that. It's pretty. It's pretty. It looks exactly like what I would expect, which in many ways is all I wanted to see. Look at that. I hope it's catching the light. So you can see it moving, and you can see me moving through it. There's kind of like, it's not, transparent, but it's translucent. So far, everything's going according to plan. I don't think I'm going to smell as much of the hops character as I wanted to because of that age. It's just, I think I'm not being snobby. I think that's just a fact. After 8 months, the hops, you want to be drinking your pale ales, your hop-forward ales, ideally within like 30 days, I think. 90 days, 6 months, sure, okay, fine. I'm fine with 6 months, but I'm looking for 30 days, And I bet you can relate if you're watching this. Let's try it. Yeah, it just comes and goes real fast. Oh, there's aftertaste and there's lingering, interesting taste, but it's a real just like kind of burst in on you and then recedes sort of beer. Nice and refreshing. Good balance of like the body, the liquid itself with the taste and the experience. I feel like is all fitting together pretty nicely. Definitely, I'm happy with this. And I love that head still staying on there. I mean, I don't think I'd go so far to say that's the sign of a good or a bad beer, but it's obviously not. There's so much more. But to me, it's always encouraging when I see that kind of, especially with, this pale ale. Or to put it the other way, it's just sort of depressing when you pour it and the entire head is gone and like 45 seconds later. Come on, where's the fun in that? Yeah, if you've watched my other videos, I don't see the point of me trying to use words to describe the tastes I'm having. I'm not so good at that. It tastes like a beer. What I'm trying to say is, do you need to go get this beer? Do you need to go get this beer to learn what Citra hops taste like? Well, unfortunately, I don't feel like I can give you a verdict on that because this doesn't taste like Citra hops really anymore, and I think that's because it's been 8 months on the shelf or wherever it's been. So I think I made a mistake in purchasing this can. It's not bad. It's actually good. This isn't bad at all. If I had a 6-pack of this, I wouldn't be disappointed. I would actually enjoy drinking it. I just feel like I missed out on an opportunity to get this beer when it was fresh. I'm going to let that be a lesson to myself. I'm going to start checking the singles can-buy dates instead of just grabbing them frantically because they look cool and I'm being an impulse shopper, which is exactly how I ended up with this beer. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe. Really, I would love to have more people connecting to connect with this stuff, talk about it, ask questions both that I want to know and that people I might be able to answer. So use the comments. Let me know what's on your mind. Anything you've had that's been interesting lately. If you've had other odd side ales, if you've had other Citra ales that you liked. If you can help understand the difference between pale ale and IPA, and if that's really a real thing, or if there's just you just get a little stronger and a little hoppier, and boom, now you say you're an IPA. That stuff all helps me too when I'm figuring out what kind of content to make on this channel. I've only had a few real people comment at this point, which I just got started anyway, but I've changed the direction of what I'm doing based on the advice and the feedback I've gotten from them, and so it's really meaningful to me and it helps me. So anyway, I hope you enjoy what you're drinking tonight. Pick one of these up. If you can find a fresher one, please pick it up. If you find one that's old like this one, it's still pretty good, honestly, okay? So I will see you in the next video. That is my review of the Odd Side Citra Pale Ale, single hop pale ale. It's pretty good. I will see you in the next video. Until then, arrivederci.